Hello everyone. In today's video, I would like to share my experience building our home here in Texas and look at how it is similar or different from my experience building in Ghana. If this is your first time watching my video, my name is Michael. I am a 36-year-old accountant and I have been married to my wife, my beautiful wife, for 14 years this July. And we have three handsome boys. Anyway, enough about me. Let's get into the topic of this video. Let's start with financing. So, I don't have like scientific data or any statistical data, but I can boldly say 99% of the homes in Ghana are built out of pocket. People work hard, they take their time, and they build what they want. Um, There are mortgages that you can get from other Ghanaian financial institutions, but for the most part, the interest rates are so high, it does not make any sense to go for those. So most people just take their time and build whenever they can afford it. So the opposite is true when you come to the US, right? Because the United States have a very, how do you say it, well-developed financial industry. So to buy a home in America, mostly people use mortgages, right? Uh, Even the rich do some sort of financial engineering to purchase their house because it doesn't make sense to buy it cash or cash. There are some tax benefits with getting a mortgage. Sometimes, I mean, depending on your own financial situation, you just have to weigh whether what makes sense to you, whether buy it cash or buy it with a mortgage. But 90% of people in America don't have 200,000, 300,000 to buy a house outright. So, I mean, the most common case is mortgage. You don't see that many people paying cash for the house. Anyway, but so what's the process of getting a mortgage, right? You need a good credit. Um, that's one. You don't necessarily have to have like a lot of money in your account. If you go with FHA, I think it's 3.5% down and closing cost. So I think when I first came to America, the misconception was I needed to have like so much money in my account to buy a house. And in some situations, it's true. Like I had to have a lot of cash to build this house for my because it was just too expensive. Um, But for the most part, if your house cost is between 100,000 to 200,000, if you have a 10,000 um, down, you can get a house. Buying a new construction, especially in our experience, was different because it was right at the tail end of COVID. So here in Texas, there was like what they call inventory system. The builder basically had the power to tell you, hey, this is what I have, you take it or not. And the Austin market was too like crazy. There were even builders who had auctions, first come first serve, and people could auction. I remember us bidding on a new build, and I think I bidded. Sorry, I bidded. My bid was 10,000 more than the starting bid, and I still didn't win it. I think the winning bid was 50,000 more than the starting bid. So it was crazy around those times. And they wouldn't let you customize because of the delay in the supply chain. It was easier to just build however they planned it. It was easier to source their products that way versus you coming in and say, hey, I want my cabinet to be this color. I want my floors to be this color. I want my paint walls or wall paint to be this color. It was just much easier those days to just say, hey, we're giving you this. You like it or you don't. If you won't take it, someone else will. So that was different. I think pre-COVID, if you can afford it, you can customize most of your stuff. um, it doesn't mean that it's cheap though. The more customization, the more expensive um, the house is. And I mean, another thing about financing with you in I can't even speak. Another thing about financing is like the industry here in America, the finance industry, right? So I get a mortgage, my neighbor gets a mortgage, everybody gets a mortgage, and these banks collateral securitize these mortgages and sell it to other institutional lenders like Fannie Mae, Ginnie Mae. They intend to sell it to other investors. So when I make my mortgage payment, the bank don't get any piece of it. All that goes to Ginnie Mae, Fannie Mae, and then they distribute that interest payment and payments, whatever, to the investors who bought the mortgage-backed securities. How do I know this? I used to work as an accountant for a bank that mostly got their revenue from mortgage-backed securities. So anyway, that's just there. I think the next thing is construction, right? In the US, we use 2x4s, plywood, drywalls, or plasterboard. Um, I think there's a reason. I don't know exactly, but I think it's because wood is easier to source. It's not necessarily cheaper because my home here in the US is gonna cost at least 3 times more than what I'm building in Ghana, right? Ghana is cement and blocks, iron rods. Pretty much your like from beginning to the end, cement, blocks, iron rod. Here's wood. The main shell of the house is wood, and then they cover it with plasterboard. I think it also makes it easier to build with wood because 20 years from now, if the trend changes and some remodeling needs to be done, it's easier to remodel wood than bricks or blocks breaking it down. So in that regards, it's like the market. You can always buy and sell, change, make whatever changes needs to be made. So it makes sense to use wood. I think the last part I want to touch on is maintenance, right? There's a lot of maintenance when you buy a home here in America, especially if you live in an HOA community. Your grass has to be cut. Um, your air conditioning units have to be serviced regularly. There's more servicing you do annually or on a regular basis compared to Ghana, right? Because Ghana, yeah, you do need to service your AC, air conditioning unit every now and then, but for the most part, most people, if it's not giving them any problem, they don't service it that way. I mean, you should service your air condition, but I don't think it's maintenance is like a big thing in Ghana. I try to tell my people like, yeah, we're gonna have to build that into our system because we can't spend all this money and let the house look dingy 20 years from now. But yeah, anyway, so that is that. And again, yeah, so you can see in this community, this is now. So the video that I've shown so far was 2 years ago, but this video right here was yesterday.